how is that flicking going? Lots of you were practicing yesterday, loved seeing all those images in the group. So today I want you to take a piece of vellum and we're really going to practice building up those images. So I want us to build ourselves a whole repertoire. We're going to build ourselves a meadow. So let's grab ourselves a piece of vellum. We're going to grab all of our colors. I have my cup here, little hedgehog hollow cup. You'll notice these appearing at the bottom of videos. You can grab yourself one if you want to. I love working with cups in my crafting. You'll notice they're all around me. I have cups with my essential tools in, cups with all sorts of things. They're just super handy. Anyway, I digress. So we're going to start off again by flicking, and we're going to spend a couple of days on different flick techniques, because once you master this flicking idea, you'll find your images are going to come on so far. And the reason I like working on vellum is because my ink takes a little bit longer to dry. And by taking longer to dry, it means I have more time to work with it. So when I'm practicing my coloring, it is perfect, okay? So when we look at these colors, you'll notice they do have a numbering on them. They kind of don't mean a huge amount, and there is a Nuvo download. So I'm going to pop a link in today's email for you to go and check out that Nuvo download if you want to start filling out the color chart. There is one available from Nuvo. Anyway, here is the numbers. So you've got 410, 412, 416. The lower the number, the lighter the color in the trio. But other than that, there isn't really any rhyme nor reason to their coloring system. It's actually just a product code. So I want us to start off with our lightest green again, and we're just going to start by doing our flicks. Now I know it's a little bit harder to see because I am still working, of course, on my white cardstock here. This is not so important on this one because vellum is kind of counted in that non-porous category. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to flick in different lengths. And you see, I have a very kind of loose grip on my pen. My pen can kind of move all over the place. But really what I'm doing is I've got long flicks, short flicks, and I want to build up a set of flicks all along my vellum. Kind of with a rough line, not a hard line, a rough line. And essentially what we're doing here is we're making a meadow. And by the end of this, I want you to have built your own meadow. So that's the start of my meadow. And you have to excuse my sniffing. I do have a cold as I'm filming this. So that's the start of your meadow. And you could also practice by doing larger ones with your chisel end if you want to. So if you wanted to put a couple of thick ones in and beef it up in areas and you want to practice with that, absolutely go for it. You can if you want to. Then I want you to take your mid shade. So for us, that's in this one, that's the 412. And you're going to notice it starts to dry, particularly the thicker ones, a little bit more like an alcohol ink, because that's how this is going to behave. And we're going to put less of those flicks. So you see how I'm not putting them all the way across, but I'm putting a few in. Again, really loose with my pen. And I'm just kind of building up some depth. And the great thing about this is I can go in and I can do this as many times as I need to. So you can see how that color is starting to build up in here. Then we're going to go with our darkest shade, and I'm going to add even less. Maybe a few tufts here and there. Some long, and because I'm lefty, of course I get it all over my hands, but I'm kind of used to that. And then I'm going to go back to my mid shade, because you're going to notice that this is a trend the whole way through coloring, that we keep going all the way through our shades. And again, no hard lines, like even at the bottom, some longer, some shorter, because we kind of want our meadow to be all over the place. It's a bit of a grass line, and you're going to practice this because when you have a flower or a hedgehog or a bunny rabbit, we're always going to ground our image. It's never just going to float in midair. So this is a really great technique, and it's going to mean you don't have to buy a million different stamps to ground your images. So you see how that's starting to really look like a grass line? It's a little bit blown out on the camera there, but if I kind of tilt it this way, you can start to see it more how it looks to me. So you can see that on that. Okay, now we're going to go in and take some of our coral. And I just want to really kind of add a few flicks as though they're reeds and rushes in here. And if you've got pinks, well, you can do the same. But this is going to make it look a little bit more fally and autumnal. It just adds that little bit of colour. And that's literally it. And you can keep just building up those colours. And you know how I showed you yesterday that you could, you know, turn some of these into flowers. If you had a brush tipped pen, so I have my one Copic that I grabbed, you know, I could maybe add a few kind of little tips on here with a heart. You see how I'm just adding my little hearts on here, just like that. And so it looks like they're little kind of reeds and rushes. And this is bleeding out because it's on vellum, but if it was on regular cardstock, it wouldn't bleed out in the same way. But it kind of looks cute. And I could add a few down here. Now remember, you have lifetime access to these videos. Now you've signed up from the challenge. So you'll have this Facebook group, you can chat with everyone, and you know, you can come back to these videos at any point. You can bookmark these in your computer and you can come back to them. They'll just stay as unlisted, so please don't share them with anyone else outside the challenge. But you can come back and share with them. But look how cute that looks. You know, you have your own little hedgerow. You could add this on a card and then just add a little sentiment on there. You know, it's just super, super easy. It's a really, really great technique to learn and share. And then if you want the reminder of how I created those hearts, they're super simple with a brush pen. Just take your tip and you lay it tip to thick, and that's it. So this is where my tip starts, and it's tip to thick, tip to thick. Super, super simple. And if you want to do that slow, you can do that in YouTube. You can go down, there's a little gear button down somewhere down, somewhere down here, just below where my finger is now. There's a little like gear button and you can do that and play it in slow-mo. My voice will sound super weird, but you totally can do that. So it's tip to thick, tip to thick, and that's how you create those hearts. And then when I did the flower yesterday, the tip stayed on the outside, but you just keep laying it down and you can see I kind of kept a central point, and you can create a little flower head, and you could take a little green dot and create your center, or a Nuvo dot and create your center. Super simple, again, really, really easy. And you know, we can do our stems. Again, it's just 3 flicks. So do that with your Nuvo, 3 flicks. Flick number 1 up, flick 2 out short, and 2 out short. But we'll be practicing those tomorrow. So there's some fun things. But go and practice your hedgerow again. Take a picture, upload it in the Facebook group, tag us so that we can see it. Tag yourself as well, because we want to see all of that practice. So go create your hedgerow. I cannot wait to see it. If you don't have a brush tip pen, you can totally do it with your chisel. If just give it a twist and that top will come off for you. Just do the same thing like this. Just do like a little scooch and a little scooch, and you can see you can create yourself like a little blossom head, and you can do exactly the same thing as I did with the contrasting purple. So there you go. Go off, create your hedgerows, tag us in the Facebook group. Can't wait to see them and can't wait to teach you more techniques tomorrow. See you then. Bye.